Hey guys, so I'm back with another sort of, it's a haul video, but also I'm going to show you my collection of gingerbread dies. And this is not including the wafer thin ones because I have a number of those, but I'd have to pull them all out and I'm not prepared to do that right now. So I'm going to show you some new things, some things I got, and then some of the rest of my gingerbread dies so you can see a size comparison, okay? Because I got in some new dies. And this one's big. You can kind of see it back here. This is a stamp and die set from Impression Obsession. I purchased this from a Facebook group. And so I can't even tell you which one it was. I belong to several of them. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, my recommendation to you, and I think I've said this before, is get on Facebook, type in the word D-Stash in the search bar, or D-Stash craft supplies, or D-Stash stamps, or D-Stash dies, that kind of thing. Join the group, see if that's what you're looking for, and if it's not, get out of the group. Because there's a lot of different Facebook groups, and you may not be looking for certain things. Like some are geared more towards scrapbooking. I don't scrapbook anymore, so why would I stay in a group like that? But, that kind of thing, if you're interested, that's what I would recommend, rather than try and list all the different groups that I'm in, because there's quite a few. So, like I said, I got this off of a person selling in one of these D-Stash groups. It's a Christmas die. You can see how they're placed, and then the stamp lets you stamp the whole thing at once, because it's a red rubber cling stamp. So anyway, got that. And then Jill was showing at one point this cookie dough tag that she had. And I am notoriously, well, if you know me, then you know that I am not a fan of hand cutting, fussy cutting most of the time, because I'm nitpicky. I'm like a perfectionist when it comes to details. And one of the things I like about cutting dies is that they give you a rounded edge. What do I mean by that? It gives you a rounded edge on the paper when you cut with a die. You cannot get that with an electronic cutting machine, because the way that electronic cutting machine works is that it drags the knife on the paper. It doesn't do any sort of impression, right? So you're not going to get a rounded edge around the cut. Okay, so that's the first thing. You can cut them with your scissors. You won't get the rounded edge. And so I went on search for something that would give me the look of cookie dough having been rolled out. And I found this die. This die is from Lawn Fawn, and it is the pool die. Okay, it's called Stitched, not pool, pond, Stitched Pond. And there's two of them because they made shakers. One of them that makes a shaker. This is Stitched Pond, and you can see what's in it, right? There's just these shapes that they don't cut, they impress these little stitch lines. And then there's the pond. There is the cutting edge of the pond. So if you cut this on a piece of paper, you get a pond that has stitches on the inside of it. And the cut paper itself has stitches on the outside of it. So if you were to do this on a card front, your card front would have a hole in it, and it would have stitch lines around that hole. That's what this is. So I am, like I said, I'm very picky about things, and that's just my nature because I'm an analyst actually by trade. So I find details very, I'm very picky with details. So anyway, I impressed that little heart shape into here. And then I used some gingerbread cookie dies that I have. This is from Impression Obsession. This is one of Anna White's. Hi, Anna. And then this one is a memory box die that is a plate die. So it actually has 5 cookies on it and in 2 different sizes. So I just put the whole plate down on here and cut it out because you can't separate them out. They're all together, hooked together. Not hooked together, but they're on a plate die, so you can't separate them. And then I stamped it with wishing you a yummy holiday season. I wish I could remember where I got that stamp out of. It is it from this one? No, it's not. I don't know where I got that stamp from. Um, Hopefully I'll find it again. But yeah, so stitched pond if you're looking for a cookie dough die. And it's big, so here's my hand. This would make a substantial size tag unless you want one really small. I don't know if there is one out there that makes it. Oh yeah, there is one. I think Cottage Cuts has a really tiny dough die. And it's on a plate as well. And it is, what do you call it? It is got other things on it, like a mixing bowl and some other things. I'm trying to see if I have it handy. It's on my desk, but it's in a container, so I'm not gonna try to pull it out. But you can see it makes this really cute tag. Now I would just probably put a hole, because of the way I did this. I'd probably put the hole somewhere up here and tie, a ribbon for a tag. And of course it wouldn't stay this color. I would probably want to darken this up to make it look like it was raw cookie dough as opposed to baked cookie dough. I do have all the die cuts that came out of this, and so you could of course pop them back in if you want, after you kind of do a little thing around the coloring them, maybe inking it in. So that's the pond. I know this made this video longer. So gingerbread dies. Let me put these over to the side because you've seen these already. This one right here, I'm going to compare it because I have a die cut from it. So this one is this size. Okay. This is an AccuCut Go die. I said before, this does not fit in a regular Big Shot. You have to have a wider machine that takes the thick dies. I never think about it because I have a Fiskars Fuse over there and it takes very wide dies. But you have to know the sandwich too. So here is that die cut, and the first, I don't have the die out. These are all AccuCut dies. Now, what will I tell you about this? These dies are thicker than a Sizzix die. They will not fit in my Fiskars Fuse. I had to cut these dies in my Big Shot Pro. I say the Pro because I have a really big die sitting right here. They are thick. So a Big Shot will cut these. It will cut, something like this because it's small, and something like this. I got two new dies that are the same shape, but they're just different sizes. And the dies themselves are probably around this, a little bit smaller than this die. So it will probably fit in your Big Shot. My recommendation is if you're interested in any of these dies I'm about to show you, or these cuts I'm about to show you, you go to the AccuCut site and you type in gingerbread, and all of them will come up. They have other gingerbread shapes that I did not purchase, and it's because I didn't feel I would use them. So I've got several dies here. They are not cheap. I bought these while they were on sale. So I would just wait for a sale if you're interested in any of these, and make sure that you have a die cutter that will fit the width of these dies, because some of them are big. These ones are not. They're regular sizes. So I think they'll fit in your Big Shot, your regular Big Shot. But I got these two dies. I don't have the dies with me because I left them in my studio. Since that Big Shot Pro is actually in there. And this is cut with really thick not chipboard, but really thick paper. This is a craft colored paper from Northwoods. And I would say this is probably 110, 120 pound. This is really thick, like watercolor paper. And look how cute they are. So these two are not exactly the same. It's like Mama and Papa, or a child and its mama. So this is the other one. It's kind of in between these two sizes, but it is not a exact like inset of the largest one. Just so you know, it doesn't fit like that. It's not like exactly to the to the shape. So my plan is to decorate these with the stamps that I have and other little embellishments. But these are gingerbreads. Okay, this guy, and he barely fits in here. Let me move these to the side so you can see him. This is the die that cuts this guy right here. And I can barely fit him into the camera. See how big he is? And you're probably like, what are you going to do with a die that's that big? Well, it doesn't matter. I'll come up with something. I just knew that I had to have him because he's so big. And this is cut onto an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So it's smaller than 8.5 by 11, in case you're wondering. But this die, again, you have to have a Big Shot Pro or an AccuCut machine to cut this. It will not fit in a Fiskars Fuse, which is a big machine too, because of the thickness of the die. See? And it's called Gingerbread Man too. So if you're interested in this one, just make sure you have a big cutting machine to cut it. And it can't be the Fuse. It has to be either AccuCut or Sizzix Big Shot Pro. I don't know if this will fit in a Plus because I don't know how wide the Plus is and I don't own one. So this particular die, like I said, is super thick. Their dies are super thick to begin with. You have to know the sandwich to put it in there, but it works in a Pro. So I got this one. And I want to show you, this is an even bigger die. This is a regular Sizzix die. And you can see this one is smaller. So I have a machine, the Big Shot Pro, fits this size die, so I can even go up in size. All right. And then I'll turn it sideways so hopefully you can see the difference in the thickness. Okay, I'm hitting the camera. So, I'm sorry. Here we go. Let me hold the camera steady. Let's see if it will focus. So the camera is trying to focus on one thing or the other, and I'm moving it around. So you can kind of see the thickness is different. Let me put them side by side. Maybe that will help. See? You can see right away that the bottom die is actually not as wide or as thick as the top one. And so that makes a difference in your sandwich and what machine you can use. So this is a big rolled rose. So you would cut it and roll it all up and you would get a rose. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you so you would see the size comparison. But I have another die that is this size, but he cuts a big giant gingerbread book page. So I have another die that's this same size that I shared with you. And you can see right here is where the book page would be. I have plans for this, so if you're wondering, you will likely see a project coming, hopefully, in the next coming weeks with this guy. But he makes a book page, and you can see what it does. It perforates it right here. So if you didn't want to make the book page, you just cut it along this dotted line. But it cuts this as well. And this, again, it's cut on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So it's smaller than that. Now, because this is a different shape from the other one, that's why I got it. He's cute. And they have other sizes, like these guys. Now, these guys have the face a little bit creepy. But I'm going to tell you that I will probably cover that up. The faces, that is. And even the buttons, where the buttons are. So there's two other sizes of smaller dies. Probably, again, smaller than this guy. Because this is the one that's from AccuCut Go, and it doesn't fit in a regular Big Shot. So it's smaller than this, and I think it will fit in your regular Big Shot. But if you're ordering, just make sure. Like I said, these are not cheap dies. Wait till they go on sale. And they're different shapes. These guys have a different shape. So you could see, and of course they have an expression. And then these two down here, you can kind of see the sizing of that. I didn't have a steel rule die that was for smaller gingerbread. So I'm glad that I have these now because you can cut multiple sheets at a time, and I don't have to spend my time like sitting there like trying to cut with a wafer die. All right, my other steel rule gingerbread dies. So you've seen this one recently. This is the Ginger Girl. I have ordered the boy. He hasn't come in yet. from an Etsy shop. And I don't even know if it's the same seller, but she had the boy, or whoever it was had the boy on Etsy. And I think it is the same person because it's coming from Tennessee. The boy is kind of weird looking, but what he had was the icing on his head. So I'm wondering if that icing fits on this head. That's why I ordered the die. Can you believe it? Because he has like bow legs for some reason. Weird to me, but anyway, you'll see it when it comes in. And I think it's, again, the same manufacturer. I don't know. My suspicion is, of course, this is probably a China die. I do most of my research. I do a lot of research, not research, but I do know a lot of dies out there. I have not seen this from a company that's made this die outside of AliExpress. So I hated that I just said that. I think this is a Chinese die. I did order the boy. It will come and I'll share it with you. And you can see these little ones I bought are smaller than her in size. It's always good to have choices, right? Here is the Sizzix red gingerbread die. This is a retired die gingerbread man. Here he is. Here's the one of the new ones I got. It's smaller. This is the AccuCut Go die, and it is about, oh, it's taller. It's taller than that one. This is the one that has the hearts for buttons that are cut out, and it has a face too. This is the Tim Holtz one. I don't have a cut of this. He's a little different because he's fat, like right here. He comes out, and then his legs actually have feet. So this one's been out for a long time. It's called Gingerbread from Tim Holtz. All right. This one is a basic gray one from Sizzix. Gingerbread number 2. So he looks like this. I hope you guys can see it. Again, he's kind of more like the Tim Holtz one where he's got feet. He's not got any bulging tummy, but he is quite hefty as a gingerbread cookie. See, you want the big cookies, right? Not the little ones. Not the skinny ones, I should say. You want the fat ones because then you get more cookie. And then this one is Sizzix Gingerbread Man. And there's the number. I don't know if I can get it to focus. Let me move my hand. Is it focusing? There we go. It's A10150. That's the number on there. And this is probably retired too. This one I think has actually got a creepy face on it. And it does the 2 little holes for, not holes, but perforation for the buttons. And he has a expression as well. I think he's creepy. That's why I hardly ever use this one, because he looks so creepy to me. It's kind of like this one in a way. But I'm going to cover that up. The best that I can. We'll see how I do that. That's my gingerbread steel rule die collection. I hope that was of interest to you folks. I wanted to share that with you. And on to something else. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.